Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
It is Money Mondays. We are talking about finances in some shape or form. I hope all is well with you. Well, today is the last Monday of 2025. What I want to encourage all of us to think about and to ponder is this idea of reflection. Always measure backwards. AMB is what Dr. Benjamin Hardy in his book, The Gap in the Gain. I'm looking at it right now. It's on my Audible or in my Audible library by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I recommend that you pick up that book. Always measure backwards. Why? As you think about money and where we are, where you are, and where I am at the end of 2025, there's great value of measuring backwards to what we have accomplished this year, particularly when it comes to our finances. There's another book. I love books. This book is called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And I was thinking about this when I was thinking about what I wanted to share today. And in this book, John Maxwell, he talks about in chapter 7, the law of design. And this is really why I want to talk about just for a few minutes, the idea of always measuring backwards, of seeing how far have we come with our finances this year. Maybe you started a new app or a new budgeting system. Maybe you got out of debt. Maybe you paid 1, 2, or 3, or 4, all your credit cards off, or your school loan. Maybe you bought a car in cash. Maybe you have more debt at the end of this year than you had at the beginning of the year. Wherever you may be, always measure backwards, because it gives us a snapshot of what's happened, of where we can improve, what we may need to change. So check this out. In chapter 7 of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, he says this: the law of design. To maximize growth, develop strategies. He starts off with this quote from Jim Rohn: if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you will fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they may have planned for you? Not much. John Maxwell says this in the intro: what is your favorite time of year? Is it Christmas? Is it when you celebrate your birthday? Or when flowers bloom in the spring? Or your summer vacation? Or when the children go back to school? Or the beginning of football season? Or when the leaves change? When is it? I can tell you mine. It is the week after Christmas. He says, glancing backward, planning forward. On Christmas Day in the afternoon, after the grandchildren have finished opening all their presents and all the hoopla has died down, I can hardly contain myself, because I know it's time for one of the things I love most every year. I still off to my study while everyone else is watching television or napping. There on my desk, waiting for me, is my appointment calendar from the preceding year and a yellow legal pad. Very intentional with what he's doing. Starting that afternoon and continuing that week up until New Year's Eve. So this is a perfect time to do it. I spend time reviewing my calendar. I review every appointment, meeting, commitment, and activity, hour by hour, from the previous 359 days, and I evaluate each of them. I look carefully at my speaking engagements and consider what I should do more of, what I should do less of, and what I should eliminate altogether. More, less, or eliminate. I think that has great application with our money as well. I look at the growth opportunities I pursued and judge which gave a high return and which did not. I look at all the meetings and appointments I had and determine which ones I should do more of and which I should eliminate. I consider how much time I spent doing things that I should have delegated to someone else. I also look at what I delegated and reconsider whether I should pick anything back up or delegate it to someone different. I evaluate whether I spent enough time with my family. I also make a list of all the things Margaret, that would be his wife, and I did together that year. And I take her out to dinner one night so we can reminisce and enjoy them once again. That's a romantic evening that always ends well. Finally, he says this: I tried to account for every waking hour I had the previous year. And what's the value of that? It helps me to develop strategies for the coming year because I do this every year and have for decades. I love that. I become more focused, strategic, and effective every year. Even if I have a difficult time or relatively unproductive year compared to what I desired, it's never a loss because I learn from it and improve upon it in the coming year. There's no substitute for being strategic. To maximize growth, you must develop strategies. That is the law of design. I love that. Chapter 7, I recommend you buy this book. And here's what I want to say as I begin to wrap this up for this episode. When it comes to our money for this year, measure backwards to see how far you have come. So for me, we started using the YNAB, YNAB, You Need a Budget, my wife and I. That has produced great benefits for us. It has helped us to get on the same page. It has helped us to pay down debt. It has given us just more accountability. And I can look back and see, yeah, we still have some debt, but the debt is less than what it was at the beginning of the year. And we have a greater connection with our finances. We have a plan. We've have dove into things and tried to figure more things out. So get a sheet of paper, or better yet, get your calendar. If you have a year's calendar, go back. Maybe you don't do the extent that John Maxwell does, but take some time today and tomorrow and Wednesday, and even this first week into January, and to evaluate what happened in 2025. Where did you win? Where can you improve? What do you need more of to do with your money? What do you need to do less with your money? What may you need to eliminate completely? But always measure backwards, yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and you can do it every day. And I think if we do that every day, we will see great gains, more margin in our money. So this episode is really more about a mindset and being patient to take the time to reflect, to reminisce, to remember, and to aim to where we want to be in 2026. But to do that, we must have that law of design. So I'd love to hear, what are you observing with where you have been in 2025? Another new episode of Money Mondays will come next week. Look for new episodes on Tuesday and throughout the rest of the week, different themes each day to help you have an I can do mentality. Take care and God bless.